listening to the sweet sounds of the After Movie Diner. Support us at patreon.com/After Movie Diner. Or I'll punch you in the teats. Rate and review us on iTunes, Earthling. And now, here's your host, Jon Cross.
That sounds about right.
Nope.
Oh, blimey.
Tits.
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 Can't say that anymore.
Tits. Can't say tits anymore? Why not?
Blair's Britain.
I just knocked things over.
Blair's Britain.
It's not Blair's Britain.
Brown's
is it?
Britain. Brown's Britain.
It's not Brown's Britain either. It's May's,
Brown's Britain.
It's May's Britain. And instead of being Brian May, which as we all know would be the sensible choice, it's Theresa May. And she's just a bloody fool.
At least you know where you'd be with Brian May, right? If he was Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Like, you'd obviously all have to grow your hair.
Right.
And everything would somehow be about, like, it would be about Queen.
Yeah, it would be about him, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, everything, all the music in the world,
Yeah.
on all the radios would have to be Queen.
Would have to be Queen. Well, no, only in England. It's not like the King of England. Why would he be the King of England? the Prime Minister of England has supreme ruling power over the radio airwaves of the entire world.
No, because what would happen is he would renegotiate all trade agreements, right? In exchange, for all music
for
being
Queen merchandise.
Queen, yeah, for Queen merchandise. He would literally sell.
How is that
everything.
any worse than what's going on right now?
Right, at least that's what I'm saying. At least you know where you were. Right?
At least you know where you are.
Yeah.
You know where you are with May. No, not that one.
With Brian.
Brian May.
Brian.
Oh, Brian.
Brian.
Brian. Oh, Brian.
You know where you are with
Hello,
Brian.
Brian.
Hello, Brian.
Hello, Brian. Yeah.
Well, I think we solved.
Solved world peace right there.
I was going to say, there's not even a name for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's not even a name for where we are.
Just the sheer despair. Just the sheer despair.
World
It is.
despair.
I want.
Solved world despair.
I want a large, glowing George Harrison hologram to appear over England and just sort of be like, it's chaos.
Have you thought about wearing orange and shaking little beads?
It's chaos.
Yes, George, we have thought of that. It hasn't worked.
No, but I just want him to appear and say it's chaos. And just repeatedly call England, you're not even...
No, I am. Listen to this.
What? Listen to what?
Downtowner.
Right.
Burger on grilled cheese with
Yeah.
sauteed onions, mushrooms
Yeah.
and barbecue sauce. I'm definitely getting that.
Right.
If I can have it with a bison burger.
Okay, I'll get the cutest.
Well, it's just like a melt.
Downtowner.
Oh,
But it's called the Downtowner.
Oh, I like it. No, I know you get excited by names.
Ooh, square diner burger. Ham, mushrooms, sauteed onions and provolone cheese.
I'm having a bison burger with Swiss bacon and
Do I get the Downtowner or the square diner burger?
avocado.
What do you think? Avocado.
I want it avocado. And should we just get fries to share, or do they come with fries?
Let's go fries to share. Should I get the Downtowner burger on grilled cheese with sauteed onions, mushrooms and barbecue sauce,
Yeah.
or the square diner burger, ham, mushrooms, sauteed onions and provolone cheese?
I mean, the square diner does sound pretty good.
It does sound pretty good, doesn't it?
It does sound pretty, but I do like the Downtowner.
Yeah, me too.
Do you like barbecue sauce?
Yeah,
Downtowner then.
yeah, good call.
Good call.
Okay.
So what were we talking about? Oh yeah, May's Britain. That was it. And how
May's Britain.
May's Britain.
What about Spader? What would Spader do?
Well, hang on a second.
Oh,
Can
sorry.
I just say the immortal words? Hello and welcome to the After Movie Diner.
Yay!
It's an episode.
Yes, hasn't been one of those for a while.
With Jim and me, and it's very exciting.
It is. It's extremely exciting.
It's very exciting
Oh,
because
it's just very.
it's very exciting.
There's a hierarchy of excitement,
Yeah.
and we're smack bang at very.
People are going to be more excited as the season goes on.
That's right, or less, depending on the quality of the episodes.
No, because the movies get better as the season goes on.
Really?
Everyone else is covering much better movies than this one.
But okay, all right, fair enough.
No. I mean, this movie was commendable, but I can't say that people are going to be like, oh wow, they're covering that film. Let's race to download that episode.
Okay, fair enough.
I will leave you all in suspense nay longer.
Okay.
It is the beginning of the inaugural episode of the fourth year of Sleazy Spader Springtime.
Oh, it's Sleazy Spader Springtime. Welcome to the show. Oh, it's a Sleazy Spader Springtime. I want you all to know that if you please, there's James Spader Sleaze and it's got nowhere else to go. So loosen all your blouses, give your nose a damn good blow. 'Cause now we're coming clean, oh yeah. It's 2019, Sleazy
Sleazy Spader.
Oh my goodness! Every time I say those words, the cockles, they're warmed.
They are.
And they're warmed because Spader is somewhere rubbing my cockles.
Yeah, he's got them in a box. And he just goes in, opens up the box, just gives them a little rub.
The little rub with a kind of velveteen chamois, just a little.
He does have a cockle chamois. I bet he does.
Spader's cockle chamois.
He's probably got one like off his belt.
Off his belt.
Times,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, he's probably got a Spader belt. What would Spader have hanging off his belt? Because we know what he has in the Sleazatorium, but what would he have? What would he have for on the go sleazing? Like what would his on the go sleazing thing? The velveteen chamois, obviously. For like drive-by shammying, which he probably has to do.
A lighter?
A lighter? Like an old Zippo lighter.
Yeah, to like burn candle wax.
Right.
And also for after cigarettes.
I was gonna say he probably has like an old chewed pencil that he like places on his lip in a obscene manner.
But it was chewed by somebody weird.
Yeah, it's
so
chewed.
He didn't chew it.
No. He bought it at an auction because it had been chewed by Desi Arnaz.
Marilyn Monroe's dog.
I thought Desi Arnaz is
No, you're right, Desi Arnaz is better.
Desi Arnaz while caught in flagrante by Lucille Ball.
And he's got like a lucky rabbit's foot, but it was like Marilyn Monroe's rabbit.
Why is he suddenly a collector of old Hollywood animal parts?
I don't know. I just feel like he would be.
I don't know, that's particularly sleazy. It wouldn't be, I don't think it's a
You can't think of something sleazy that Spader would do with Marilyn Monroe's rabbit's foot?
No, I can think of what he would do with it, but I don't think the item in itself is inherently sleazy.
Okay, no, fair enough. All right.
I think it would be more like a, like, I don't know, like he has a gecko's tail or something. Like he has a lucky gecko's tail, because it's just slightly more like, ugh, isn't it?
Maybe he's got like...
He's got a small stuffed pet crab.
Yes.
In a box.
Could I get the downtowner?
With fries or no fries?
No fries, but could I get it with a bison burger?
Okay.
Yeah? Cool. And a cup of English breakfast tea.
How you like the burger? Medium?
Medium, yeah, medium.
No fries?
No, actually, well done. Well done bison burger, downtowner, no fries, and English breakfast tea with milk.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And I will have bison burger with bacon and Swiss with fries. And can I get a side of like brown gravy?
At the side.
Just
So
regular
bacon-
brown gravy?
Okay. So you want the
Bacon cheese bison burger, I want it medium.
Okay, got it.
Bacon cheese bison burger with fries and a side of brown gravy.
Drinks?
I'm sticking with water.
And English breakfast tea with milk. Thank you very much.
But yeah, so anyway, the Spader definitely has a sleaze belt.
It does,
That's
I think
definitely-
the problem is that
It's
Spader's
a
sleeve
you-
belt is just going to have things on it that we don't even want to think about.
Swiss, you have Swiss? or-
Bacon Swiss. Yeah. On the bison, thank you. That's why you write things down.
So I don't. I'm not wildly confident about my order.
No. What was I saying? So anyway, yes,
Jim,
we're doing...
it doesn't bear thinking about what he keeps on his sleeve belt. It's like,
Yeah.
if you've seen Spader's sleeve belt,
Yeah.
it's already too late.
It's all, no,
Do you know what I mean?
it's,
It's too late
it's
for
definitely
you.
too
Do you
late.
know what I mean? You're never going to be heard from
You're
again.
already up
I
to
mean,
your knees.
people might see you again,
Yeah.
but your personality will be so completely altered that you basically disappeared.
Yeah, he probably has a small vial of like...
People's innocence. He like collects people's innocence in a
he
vial.
has a small vial of like Dean Martin's sputum or something.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
That he like scraped out of like a microphone or something. Do you know what I mean?
I thought you were going to say like he scraped out of like some famous person's vagina. I was like, what?
Well, he might have done.
I don't know. Who was with you last?
He's probably
night?
got like Frank Sinatra's wrist bun.
Maybe. Do you think he's a brat packer though? Do you think a rat packer? Rather?
No, I'm trying to think of like people who it would have pleased him to think about them masturbating. Yeah, I mean, like Elvis Presley's wrist.
No,
bun.
I think it's even more insidious than that.
Yeah.
I think he has River Phoenix's wrist bone.
No, that's just weird.
Yeah, I think
That's
that's what he
weird.
has.
Yeah.
I think that's what he has.
No, he's got River Phoenix's hair. He like shaved it off in one go.
In one go.
So it's like functionally a wig that he will put on.
Sorry, I'm getting dry lip. So yes, we're doing Sleazy Spader.
Right, yes, we are, yeah.
This is the one episode you're appearing on. You've decreed you will not appear on another episode.
I've been a bit disappointed by the standard of Spades, and I also feel that the nature of the Sleazemeister is that it requires fresh eyes.
Right.
Because
yours have already been burned.
Yeah, like burned and
ago
scraped out
by the filth
by
of Spader.
by Spader's filth. Yeah.
So what is the film?
It takes me at least a month to clean the filth off my eyes.
Yeah. Whereas my eyes have been perpetually filthy
Exactly,
since I was
mate.
14.
You've got like, yeah, you've got.
You would say, I mean, you would say that I definitely live on the darker side of life than you do, wouldn't you say that? Like I'm definitely more
I think
insidiously
cinematically
weird.
you do. Yeah, I think you've seen on film far
No, I think in
weirder
life
and
as
darker
well.
things than. Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, no, wait. On film, you beat me because you worked for some years in pornography. And although I've seen my fair share of pornography, I feel like what you've watched is probably pretty bleak.
That's true.
And depressing.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah, but I mean, I'm thinking more into. But it was. Yeah, okay, no, that's fair. I think I probably have.
You haven't maybe seen the violence that I've seen. Or the insidiousness. But you've seen.
Yeah.
You've seen plenty of. You've seen.
I've seen like
humor.
you've seen like different like dark itches being scratched, not
Yes.
just sex.
Right.
You know.
But you've seen humanity at its most raw and tedious. Would that be fair to say?
yeah.
Because like you began to find it very. You became a nerd.
For people
to
that don't know, I spent a couple of years. My first job in London, I spent a couple of years working for Playboy TV in London, and it was an interesting experience.
Right.
And by interesting, I mean horribly bleak. And yeah, I guess Spader does take me back to that time.
To that time.
Like, he's a doorway into that world. And I don't want to stay there for any longer than I absolutely have to.
No, well, that's fair, mate. That's fair. So, what's the movie we're doing this?
The movie is the weirdest title I can think of. I think it's a pun, but also it's not.
Right.
Oh, no, it is. I just got the pun. So it's called Eyewitness.
I, Witness.
I, Witness.
And I have to go on record as being not a fan of punctuation in movie titles.
I agree, especially if it's to forgive a not very good pun.
Right.
Which also...
What's the pun?
Eyewitness.
Oh, like eyewitness.
Eyewitness. Eyewitness.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I mean, it barely qualifies.
Right.
You know, and also,
Right.
like, nothing about the film is really about... Like, none of them are... They're not really witnesses.
Well, Daniels is a witness to all of it.
No, he's not. He investigates. He doesnn't see anything. He uncovers the plot. But the
No, he
people who were
witnesses.
plotted against,
Right.
like the thing that started all, were just like they didn't witness anything. They were just a part of something. You know.
Yeah, but I part of something doesn't really
No, I
work.
agree. I'm just saying there's a number of like.
Starring Jeff Daniels and James Spader, we're all part of something, mate.
But if it'd been called, like, I don't know, Tijuana Death Hole or something, like that would have been something, right?
No, but that again would conjure up your old job
Like
on Playboy
Mexican
TV.
Mexican Death Hole.
Yeah, but that again would
Yeah,
conjure
fair
up
enough.
some sort of.
But do you know what I mean? Like Eyewitness.
Although
is
I
like,
quite like Tijuana Death Hole. as
Yeah.
that would be an album by like one of our bands, one of our weird bands,
by the Sleazy Vigilantes.
by the Sleazy Vigilantes.
Tijuana Death Hole is definitely an album by the Sleazy Vigilantes, for sure.
Where was that from again? The Sleazy Vigilantes.
During our recent filming with Photo Media
Yes.
on Metal Detector Maniac,
Metal
which is a much
Detector
better
Maniac.
name than Eyewitness.
Much
It just
better.
goes to show that coming up with titles like Don't Let the River Bees Get You
And
Eyewitness. I'm sorry,
Sorry.
and Slingshot Cars.
I said eyewitness.
Yeah, it's not as easy as people might think.
No,
Because otherwise you end up with Eyewitness, which is dreadful. Like, I don't know.
but
like,
it's not. It's I, witness, and there's no font.
or like Border Town, you know, Border Town Funeral, or like
Border Town Death.
Death at the Border, you know, or
Right.
Border Mystery,
Yeah.
or like
I'm bored of this already.
Border Beard Border.
Beard border. What's
Like a Jeff Daniels, like Dennis Wilson impression.
Right. So this was made. Must have been made.
This was made when films like this were seen as progressive, as opposed to like horribly.
Well, it's fairly. It's not insulting.
It's not that in the one of the characters goes, "I don't need no white savior," and then Jeff Daniels proceeds to be a white savior,
Right.
and it's like, oh, you know, it's.
But Jim, didn't you know, really, white people are the only people who can save anybody?
No, I agree.
That's just the reality of it.
Obviously, but there's things like they're going.
Unless you're French, of
look, we're
course.
being, we understand Mexico. We're being real about Mexico. Yeah, but you're also saying that Mexico is like a horrible, drug-infested, murderous shithole that no one would ever live for more than 5 minutes, and it's like wallowing in like corruption and misery.
Except that it sort of is.
I know that it sort of is, but you're not supposed to make films about it, as if that's like.
What about traffic?
Yeah, but my point is that even in traffic, I bet that they visit parts of Mexico that aren't like drug-infested hellholes.
Well, you see the cop's family.
Right.
The nice cop.
Yeah, but they live in like functionally a shack, don't they? Basically. But I'm just saying, it's a weird film because it acts like it's being progressive, but actually its portrayal of Mexico and Mexicans are incredible. Everybody's a drug dealer or corrupt or the one hero in a corrupt town. Like, everybody's awful.
Well, it's a weird.
That's what the film should be called. It should be called Everyone's Awful in Mexico.
Yeah. Again, I'm not sure that would have sold. But I mean, it may have sold better than Eyewitness. It seems odd because to me, it seemed like a fairly ham-fisted TV movie. It had the production.
I'm pretty sure it isn't,
value
or is it
of
just a straight to VHS?
Yeah, it's just such an odd one that at that point in both their careers, they were doing a straight to video, like shockingly low budget considering the quality of the film.
Both of them seem to be smack bang in the middle of. I'm too old to be a leading man,
right?
And I'm too young to be a delightful eccentric.
I guess so.
Do you know what I mean? Because Jeff Daniels went from being sort of a leading man, or at least like best friend, comic relief, whatever, to being aging character actor with like dignity,
right? /
sense of humour,
right?
But there's a bit when he was like neither one thing nor the other, and that's when Eyewitness swept him up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I mean I think that I would imagine they did Eyewitness with the best of intentions. Because I feel like Jeff Jeff's got a political bent. Jeff is not shy of the odd.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that about the Jeffster.
He was in a newsroom program.
Oh yeah. Well, just because Aaron Sorkin offered him a lead in an HBO series doesn't make him political. That just makes him like. No, but why would you say no to that?
He's talked about politics, and he pretty much sides with a lot of what was said on the news. And Spader's a bit of the old. Like he used to hang out with the Kennedys and stuff. Like he's a bit of an old.
I would say Spader's like solidly libertarian. I would imagine.
No. Someone like Kurt Russell is libertarian. Spader's way more. Spader is lush, moneyed liberal. That's what he is.
All right.
Hands down, lush.
He would if Trump walked
like
into
he used
a room,
to hang out and get
Spader
high
would
with the Kennedy kids.
Oh.
That's literally what Spader used to do. Like he's told stories on Jimmy Fallon about like throwing up in front of Jackie O and stuff. Because he was like a fop. He was like a foppish.
He probably
rapist, sleazy.
I wouldn't be surprised if Spader pleasures himself to the memory of throwing up in front of Jackie O.
I could get particularly dark here. While the Zebrugge film plays, and the Zebrugge.
No, I don't think he'd go that far.
While the Zebrugge film played in the background on a dirty sheet.
When
There's
Spader,
literally no reason to be honking a horn. That man is a complete.
When Spader watches the Zebrugge film, he's not watching the assassination. He's watching to see if he can see up her skirt when she climbs around the back. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Aren't we all doing that? Sorry, that was a joke. That was a bleak joke. That was not meant.
No. I was allowing for the after movie diners equivalent of oral tumbleweed.
Yeah.
To just sweep across.
I think that's
the vista of people's minds.
That's probably
because that's where we live right now. When you think about it.
That's probably what Spader would call like an art house porn he does on the side.
Yeah.
Oral tumbleweed.
Oral tumbleweed. Yeah. Oh, I bet he's made a short film called Oral Tumbleweed. It'll be on IMDb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oral Tumbleweed, short.
Yeah.
So should I explain the plot of the film?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I mean, right. So the basic plot of the film is Jeff Daniels is a human rights observer who gets invited down because there's an election at a Mexican factory about bringing in the unions. And there's sort of like a whole stew of the factory trying not to let the people unionise.
And what's her name?
And Portia de Rossi from Arrested Development it's impossible after Arrested Development. It's impossible to take her seriously because she just looks, talks, and acts exactly like Arrested Development character.
Well, at this
all
time,
the way through the movie.
At this time, she was probably in. Wasn't she in Animate Beale?
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
And it's weird because Spader would end up working with Kelly, the guy who wrote it, David Kelly.
Oh yeah. I mean, weird is such a strong word.
Boston Legal.
Coincidence, if that.
Coincidence, yeah. But she was in Animate
Did you know
Beale,
she worked with somebody in Hollywood, and later James Spader also went on to work with that very same person.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Well, I just thought if during the 10
Are you going to try and make it less boring than it is? Because good luck.
What in the series of Boston Legal, considering Portia de Rossi was in Animate Beale, she could have cameoed. She didn't, but she could have cameoed.
She could have done.
Boston
So
Legal.
it could have been more interesting. It isn't, but it could have been.
It could have been the eyewitness.
You could have blown me out of the water.
The eyewitness
with your semi-interesting facts.
The eyewitness.
But it was not to be.
What's the?
I remain in the water.
Anyway, tell the story. Portia
Rossi is like runs the is like the corporation's representative during this union fight at a Mexican factory. Meanwhile, also down there, just kind of wandering around, as far as I can tell, with like he's either the American like representative. Thank you very much. He seems to be some kind of like American government representative in Mexico, which is James Spader, which is like, oh, I just represent American government interest down here. That seems to be about it, really. I guess he's CIA.
Yeah, he does dodgy deals with local police and local politicians.
Whether he's there officially or not is, in my opinion, the subject of some debate.
Right. But he's like, I've got a spare 6 months. I've got some loose suits and a pair of aviator shades.
Time for me to go
down to
where
Tijuana
the living's good, right?
Sashay about a bit.
Where the rules are loose and the women are looser.
Yeah.
So,
and of course, because the whole world is very small, him and Portia de Rossi know each other.
Him and Jeff Daniels know each other as well. Like Portia and Jeff don't know each other, but Spader, Portia, and Jeff make up like a triangle in the movie.
Which is hilarious because, we all travel around,
Yeah, we all bump into each other in these places.
Through these questionable circles.
So outside of America, it's like basically 3 towns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? 5 restaurants and 3 towns.
Yeah.
But what happens with... I think this is us.
I wouldn't want to go back.
Oh, wow, look at that. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. Looks great.
Oh, and the brown gravy. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Where's the barbecue sauce?
Oh, yeah.
Is it on there?
Maybe it's underneath?
Oh, maybe it's just on the bread.
No, I don't think it's on the bread. You're right.
A tiny smattering of it, I think. No, there is. There's a little bit on there.
Where is it?
Under there. It mixed in with the cheese. I think they put it on the bread and then put the cheese on.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I can smell it, so it's definitely on there.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
great.
perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. So carry on then. Yeah, they're all hanging out down in Mexico.
That's not a bison burger, is it?
What?
It's not a bison burger, is it?
What do you mean?
Is it a bison burger? It's not like a bison burger.
How would it be any different?
Well, it would taste different, wouldn't it?
I mean, don't call it a burger is a burger, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
You had it well done, so it's not going to taste of anything.
Oh my god. The mushrooms are amazing.
Anyway, keep on with the plot.
Sorry. So there's a union fight. Jeff Daniels is there to monitor on behalf of the human rights organisation. Portia Rossi's running the corporation, and Spader's is kind of keeping an eye. Meanwhile, there's a murder case that Jeff Daniels comes across. I forget why. He's just sort of there, and it's a bunch of innocent Mexicans have been killed, ostensibly by a drug lord.
Whoa, no, what? What brings him down originally is that connected to this factory and this corporation a bunch of Mexicans died in a tunnel.
No, that was coincidence. It happened on the first day he was down. It wasn't connected. It was coincidental. That happened when he was down there.
I mean, to be honest, if I'm honest with it, I didn't understand this film. So carry on.
Either way, Jeff basically gets involved in
A murder plot.
right, along with a policeman who I recognised but couldn't quite place. And him and the copper go about solving the crime, and it's not clear, even up until the end, even beyond the end, whether or not Spader's involved. Like, they kind of make out like he isn't, but also I don't really see how he can't be, because they paint him as this like dark, you know, the usual like, oh, I'm the representative of like America's dark interests abroad.
Well, not so much their interest. He's just more morally ambiguous.
But it's definitely this is really good.
I can't eat and talk. So, wait 1 second.
Yeah.
I think the ending,
Yeah.
when Spader witnesses what happens,
Right.
not to spoil it, I think that shot of him at the event that we can't talk about, the shot of him at that event, I think, is to say, I maybe need to change my ways.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
Because he does ultimately help with the
Yeah, he does.
arrest of the
crooked cop.
one of the culprits.
Right.
There's sort of many culprits, many. It's a whole house of cards.
But okay, can I just say that? Like, there were some, I think, genuinely good bits in it. I quite like Jeff Daniels doing his investigative Dennis Wilson act, right? I thought that was quite cool. I quite like the bits like when the guy gets dragged out at the end, when the guy gets arrested and dragged out of the car and is like weeping and screaming and crying. That was quite an effective moment, I thought. Right? But here's the thing that I liked most about this film. I genuinely think this is maybe the sleaziest Spader has been in a film that I've seen.
Really?
Yeah. He was epically sleazy because he's hardly in it. But every time he's in it,
You want to shower. Like every time he's in it, you just.
First of all, he's doing Rossi, which is just weird.
Right. So
Sorry.
So we see Spader at the beginning of the movie, right? We then see Rossi at the beginning of the movie, right? For no reason, because it bears no.
It has no effect on the plot.
It has no effect on the plot except to literally be a visual metaphor of everyone is in bed with everyone.
Right.
It cuts to like the end. And
Well, what I like it, it's like you see the outside of the building and you hear people having sex, and I remember thinking, well, that's Spader.
Yeah.
No way, that's not Spader.
So, for no reason, there's a scene where Rossi and Spader are in flagrante.
Right. But my favourite sleazy bit.
You've got a big
I know.
thing.
My favourite Sleazy Spader bit in this movie, when they disturb Jeff Daniels in the morning or in the evening. But anyway, he's just out of the shower and he's wrapped in a towel and he's talking to Rossi. He's come round, and then Spader comes round, and Spader's reaction to finding Jeff Daniels in a towel in a room with Rossi is, first of all, just delightful. He's so tickled by the fact that they might have been porking. He's not jealous.
Right.
I mean, he could have played it so many ways. He's not jealous. He's not miffed.
Spader doesn't get jealous. I almost see it as an opportunity. Like Spader almost looks at it as an opportunity of a potential three-way.
No, that's exactly what. So the best bit, and I'm not sure if you saw it or not, because it was absolutely amazing. After he walks into the hotel room, and he's seen Jeff Daniels is in the towel, right? He's seen it. And the door closes. And the first thing Spader does after he exchanges opening sleazy pleasantries with Jeff Daniels is he checks Daniels out. He looks him up and down in the towel in a kind of an amused approving way. Like, wow,
amazing.
You look pretty good in a towel. It was so good. It was easily one of the sleaziest thing I've ever seen him do. Because it was so. Why would your character
I still think
sleazily check out Daniels in the towel?
I still think he's sleazier in 2 Days in the Valley. And you've seen
No, I haven't seen it in a long time.
But 2 Days in the Valley, which is, again, his other role with Jeff Daniels, curiously enough,
Oh, okay.
although it's Jeff Daniels and Eric Stoltz, I'm not sure that Spader's assassin ever crossed his path with him. Maybe they do. But that's another movie that, I mean, okay, in this case it's Charlize Theron and it was like an early role for her and blah, 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 blah. But that's another movie where, for no reason whatsoever, Spader has like a gratuitous sex scene. Like, there's no need for it whatsoever in the plot. But he does it. And I feel like, having watched so many of these films at this point, I'm almost certain he had it in his contract. I'm almost certain that he had it written in somewhere, that if there wasn't some level of
Sleazy sex scene,
in
he'd
it,
walk.
He had to have it written in.
Wasn't he like one of the? I mean, I know it was in the days of shit, because of Tarantino, we have to like pump this movie full of like, unless it's got 12 names people recognise at the top, we can't sell it.
Right.
And like Spader was a part of that, but he's still kind of a star at that point, right?
It's weird. Spader's one of those people that's never not been a star since he came out onto the scene. But because he's walked to the beat of his own drum, and because he self-admittedly only takes movies when he needs the money, he's just had this very weird career. Like, he's never been like A-list. Even in the Brat Pack, he wasn't even in the top 10 of Brat Pack.
No, that's true. But I think the reason I genuinely enjoyed this one, as opposed to other Spader ones I've seen, is that sometimes, I mean, some of the ones we watched were slow and boring and not very interesting. He didn't even get that sleazy, and it just weren't terribly great movies. Whereas this one, despite being like a little bit objectionable and certainly a product of its time,
no, I don't think it's
objectionable. It had kind of like.
I don't think it's. I think you selling it as objectionable is.
No, I'm just saying there are parts of it. No, because I enjoyed watching it.
That's particularly like outrage culture.
No. But that's no, because
Twitter bollocks
no, you didn't have to accuse me of that.
No, I'm not saying that's who you are. I'm saying it's very akin to that.
Well, no, it has. But I'm just saying there are clearly parts of it that are problematic. The white savior thing, the fact that everybody in the movie is a drug dealer or corrupt. Or
except the one good cop. We've seen that in Western movies. Like,
no, I know. But what I'm saying is, at the time, the difference is not that I'm making that it's an objectionable movie. I'm saying, at the time, it would have been. It was interested me because at the time it would be seen as progressive, right? As like, this is what's really happening. You know, we know what's really going on.
Right.
But actually, I'm sure Mexicans would have been a little bit miffed to see that, you know, this is the only way their country is being represented. That's what I'm saying. However,
I mean, that's elite. It's telling a certain story, so it has to have it. Anyway, my feeling about this was the reason why it's very watchable.
No, it was. I did enjoy it.
Very watchable.
Janice is really good.
Is that like a good TV movie, but also like a good straight to video 90s thriller? It knows what it's doing. It's got enough plot to keep it bumbling along, and it doesn't. Apart from obviously the obligatory sex scene, it doesn't like hang around for anything. It just bundles along.
That's
There's enough stuff going on that it bundles along.
And
it has a decent twist in the end. It has a decent.
And actually, part of the twist too is that it's not Spader. Like they are setting up for most of the movie that it's the American government. This is all some big conspiracy, and it's not. It's just kind of like bumbly middle. You know, it's not a big corporate evil. You know, it's like there's pressure, and it's all committed and
No. At the very end, the corporation is definitely culpable. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. What's interesting about it, for all you saying that it's not a great representation, is at the end of the movie, without wanting to spoil it too much, essentially, American corporations are at fault, right? Coupled with one corrupt Mexican cop. Even the so-called drug lord that is apparently blamed for everything, and is blamed for everything by the media and by the cops and by everything,
right.
Even he is to blame. And actually comes across as a sort of like fairly like beneficent kind of he reminded me of like a kind of Mexican Dino De Laurentiis, like sat behind a thing being like, hello, I'm just killing someone in the other room, but away, like whatever it is. It was just he was sort of jolly and fatherly.
I genuinely enjoyed the movie. That's why I liked it, and there was enough. That's what I mean. Like, this was almost for me the perfect Sleazy Spader Springtime movie, because I would never have watched it in a billion years if it weren't for this.
Right.
If it weren't for this series.
Right.
But it was a really fun, just like you say, it bowled along. There was a little mystery. It had like Jeff Daniels. It was obviously filmed in Mexico.
I think if the director or the cinematographer had been worth a damn, this would be and the title wasn't bullshit. This would be a much more well-remembered movie, because the script is definitely very strong in terms of A to B to C plot, nice twist at the end, bunch of interesting characters, and enough like interesting locations.
I cared about the copper. I even cared about the Rossi.
Like, this movie smacks to me of something that when Jeff and Spader finally saw it, they were like, "That's a shame," because when we read the script, it was like a really good script. And we just had no money, and we had a TV director or whatever.
Well, yeah, that's probably fair. But to have...
Like, Daniels plays it super earnest. Like, he's playing it, very with all the beans.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not playing it like he's in a straight-to-TV thriller.
No. None of them are, to be fair.
Well, Spader's playing it like he needs to pay off
Well, that's what I mean. That's
his beach guest house.
What I like about it so much is he's given us such a little amount of screen time, but they've obviously told him, listen, you're the red herring, right?
Well,
people need to think that you're evil, but you don't have an awful lot of screen time, and your lines are mostly benign, and you have to look to the characters.
He's like, "That's nice. Do I get a sex scene with Portia de Rossi?"
Oh, all right. But he has to sound benign to the character. It has to be believable that the characters of the movie don't suspect
Right.
that he's to blame, but everybody watching the film has to think it's him.
Right.
And the only way to do that is to be unbelievably sleazy.
Right. It's not
And
the
he's-
sleaziest he's ever been. I don't want to set it up for people to be like, "Oh, we're supremely
But like
sleazy."
even the apartment that Rossi's in is like obviously just put together to have as much sex in as possible.
Yeah, it's a shag pad, yeah.
It's a shag pad.
Yeah.
And I was watching it thinking, he's only in Mexico to shag. I wouldn't be surprised if nobody's heard of him.
Right.
If the government are like, oh, is that where he is?
Yeah.
We hadn't heard from him in a few years.
I wouldn't be surprised if Spader was in Mexico to shag and they just filmed around it.
That was surprising. But you're right, it was a good little movie. I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed Death. I really enjoyed Space's Sleaze because it wasn't the focus of it. Because when it's like, oh, he's deliberately being sleazy, that kind of spoils it. It's more like, how sleazy can one man be when he's supposed to be doing something else? He's not supposed to be a sleaze. Nowhere in that script is going, this guy is sleazy.
Right.
And yet, he's eyeing up another bearded man in a towel while fantasizing about shagging him and Portia de Rossi.
And I also think, because you're not a fan of stuff like Dream Lover and White Palace, which were obviously his attempts to mainstream the sleaze. Like he tried, do you know what I mean? Like he was like, well, they're letting me do it in these smaller films. What if I try and mainstream the sleaze? He got away with the sandwich in White Palace. He got away with that. And Dream Lover, he got away with like punching a clown or whatever he does in that movie. But like in
Dream
general,
Lover was fun. I liked Dream Lover. I think that was okay.
it was only fun because at the end he was like running around a mental institution lawn with his eyes being all goggly.
Yeah.
But no, the problem with recommending this one is that it's just a bit, if you're not in the mood for it, or if you don't see into it like the way you and I did, it is low rent, it is low budget, it is shoddily made, and it is, unless you can really kind of get involved in a fairly complex twisty-turny plot and see it for the kind of very standard thriller that it actually is, it's a difficult one to recommend because it's not necessarily going to leap off, they say it leaps off the page. I think the script probably leapt off the page, but I'm not sure that the movie leaps off the screen in the way that
I suppose I may have had.
I understand.
Given
how
that
you watched it.
I feel like we were scraping the bottom of the Spader barrel.
Oh, mate, there is so much more scraping to be done. Owen and I are covering Alien Hunter.
Oh, I want to see that one. Let me know how that one goes. But in terms of like Spader films that we could watch for free, or we hadn't already covered, this was pretty much it.
I mean, yeah, I have some movies on disc, so I was able to watch those for free.
Right. But what I'm saying is, when I sat down to watch this one, it was like this or nothing.
Right.
And I was not in the mood for. I was not in the mood for a twisty, turny thriller.
Right, and I think that's the other thing, is that when you come to Eyewitness, you we both went in going, all right, this is probably not going to be very fun.
Right.
Hold on to your hats, lads. Let's just get through this.
Right.
And it turned out to be a...
Yeah, like a fun little ride, right?
Use that.
Yeah, I'll get one from over here.
Well,
I'm
use
just
it.
going to get in it. Oh, yeah, okay,
Please.
there we go. Okay, thanks, man.
I can't believe you didn't want it. I haven't wiped at it.
No, I didn't want to take it from you. I was being nice.
You just didn't want to touch me in any way.
Well, yeah. But
Even
I do.
via a napkin.
But I do, don't I? I touch you all the time.
I know. Emotionally.
Yep. Is there another way?
Not with me, mate. No.
I wasn't aware that there was another way to touch you.
I'd bite your hand off.
Not that I want to think of.
But I knew what you mean. It was fun. Spader was sleazy. It was a good, strong thriller, twisty-turny script. And if you go in expecting a 5 out of 10, you'll get a 7 out of 10. That's what I'd say.
I think if you go in expecting a 4 out of 10, you'll get a 7 out of 10.
But I think if you go in expecting a 7 out of 10, you'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
Because you'll be like, I don't understand what they saw in this movie.
Yeah. 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 That's. I think that's a fair description. So.
Oh, and I would also say, have a history of watching thrillers on VHS in the 90s. And what I mean by that is,
Yeah. Don't go into this. Make sure you're well protected.
if you go into, like, if you were the kid who'd go into the video store, you'd rent all the new releases, and then the second week, while you were waiting for more new releases, you started to rent things further down the shelves.
Right.
This is definitely
Further
down the shelves.
Yeah, that's a good description.
90s thriller.
Yeah, sure.
But if you've seen a bunch of those, and you keep your expectations low, it's not bad. That's my review. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think that's that is how I feel about it too. I enjoyed the experience of watching it, which is not always the case with Sleazy Spader Springtime. I never have sky high expectations of Sleazy Spader Springtime.
What was the worst for you? What really put you off ever doing it again?
I think White Palace was pretty close.
You really didn't like that,
It was
did
just
you?
fucking boring. What was the one we watched after that?
It was obnoxious and yuppie is what it was. It wasn't...
The problem is the first year of Sleazy Spader, because we did 2 years before I basically quit.
Yeah.
First year was really good, and every movie had something to it. But the second year was mostly not good. I don't think there was a movie that I genuinely enjoyed in the whole second year. Because I think it was White Palace.
When was Supernova?
No, Supernova was year one.
It was?
Yeah, year one was Jack's back.
I can't believe we're into our fourth year.
Supernova.
Are we sure it's fourth year and not third year?
We did the.
Is this third year or fourth year?
I think it's fourth year. We didn't. I only did one in the third year.
What was the third year?
I can't remember. I can't remember what it was. Oh, it might have been the one about the alien woman coming down to Earth in trouble and Star-Crossed. I think that's the one we did,
That was fun.
and I liked that one. Yeah. And
We've come here to do the first episode of Sleazy Spader Springtime every year.
Is that true?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's cool.
We did White Palace here.
Sorry.
We did Star-Crossed here, and
Yeah.
we're doing this here.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, first year was pretty strong, and I think the other thing in the second year was that Southern Legal one. That's right, because the thing about the second year was they
That was fairly sleazy.
no, I'm not saying it wasn't sleazy, but I didn't think it was a very good movie. They were all
What was
sleazy.
it called again?
Oh, I can't remember.
He was caught knobbing an Asian bird on
Swampy
the...
Knobs. I can't remember. Swamp
It was
Knob.
definitely James Spader in Swampy Knob.
But it was a whole year's worth of like things I was genuinely really excited to see because they sounded so sleazy.
Swampy Knob sounds like a character Johnny Depp would play in like a Tim Burton cameo.
Yeah. But
oh look, it's old Swampy Knobs.
But if you think about like the movies themselves, like the Swampy Knobs one was like James Spader plays like a district attorney
like
in the
a
South, like mired in a sex scandal. Brilliant.
Right.
And it was just kind of a bit boring. He was sleazy, but it was boring. And the White Castle was boring, even though that was supposed to be like a 90s steamy erotic thriller. It was boring. It wasn't really a thriller, but erotic drama. I just thought they were all boring. And the first year I really liked Jack's Back and Supernova. Like, they were really fun. And I think I prefer the James Spader movies that are just like fun and silly, where he gets a chance to be sleazy. But every time we watch one where he's like cast as sleazy, that's just not as good.
It's sort of why I want to enjoy the Blacklist and can't. Because I'm like, I know he's Spader turned up to 11 on the Blacklist.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I can't handle it. It's almost like at a
you
certain
can't handle
point,
the
my
spades.
Spader cup runneth over, and I'm like, I'm done.
At some point, on a Saturday night at Spader's house, your cup runs over with too much Spader. You know?
Yeah. So, to end the episode, as we always do in Sleazy Spader Springtime, what item...
Mate, there's only one answer to this question.
Jeff Daniels' towel.
Jeff Daniels' towel.
Jeff Daniels' towel. I've got a feeling that he's got someone else's towel in the Sleazatorium. I'll have to listen back, but...
All right, well, if he does...
I should have really had a listen to the previous Spader episodes, but he's definitely... I mean, even if it's not the main thing, it's in there. It's probably in there, like, in a corner, sort of slightly gathering mold, but he occasionally picks it up and sniffs it.
Oh, he gives it a good right in there.
And when you come over, he unfurls the towel and he points out exactly where
Jeff Daniels'
balls would have been brushing the towel. Like he pins it up, like he's got a little thing, and he like pins it up. And
We've got a little laser pointer.
Yeah, you're standing.
You can see here.
Definitely a laser pointer. Definitely.
That's on his sax belt.
Definitely a laser.
He's got a laser pointer.
Laser pointer.
I want you to.
No, is it a laser pointer or is it like an extender, like a car aerial extender? You know what I mean?
No, you're right. It wouldn't be a laser pointer. No, it'd have to be something pointy, but it's like weird. You know, what is that? It takes me a while to realise.
It's like an extendo pointer.
No, but I mean, like he would use something to point that was inherently sleazy.
No, because that would over-egg it. You need to just... all eyes need to focus on that. You can't be focusing on the fact that
he wouldn't want to confuse the issue.
No, so
he would not want to confuse the sleaze issue.
I do like the idea of him standing next to the towel and be like, "So are you sitting comfortably?" And then go and like pull out one of those extenders.
Or it'd just be like a snapper. You know,
it'd be a snap one. It'd go floop, and it would go and then he would like whip it against the thing, and it would go on the towel. And he'd be like, "You can see here."
And when he's talking and not pointing, he'd like absentmindly be rubbing himself. I remember that movie. Is he rubbing himself while he's talking to us?
Why do I feel that if I put together, like if out of nowhere I suddenly got like millions of dollars, and I was putting a movie together, and in the movie, like there was a Sleazatorium, and I just wanted a James Spader cameo. Right. And I'm like, I'm going to throw $1 million at him to do a cameo. I feel like he would do it. Absolutely. I feel like he would do it in a heartbeat.
Especially if it was like his Sleazatorium. I mean, if you actually, let's say you've got billions, right? If you actually went out and tracked down
his actual
the props that we're talking about and actually created the Sleazatorium and said, Jimmy, what do you think?
Be like, Jimmy,
he'd never leave, mate.
No, and be like,
he'd never leave.
He'd be like, do you understand?
He'd weep.
That's the real towel.
He would weep at the beauty and the joy.
That's the real towel.
Yeah. And then you get out your pointer and go, you see here.
Yeah. And he wept because he had no more sleaze to conquer.
Do you think that?
Do you think at that point he would just all the juice that is keeping him puffed up right now and very waxy would just deplete from him in some horrible, and he would just like fold in on himself if he ever stood amongst the Sleazatorium for real? Do you think that would just be it? And he would just, and he would just
I think he drinks
deflate.
fresh juice, like his own juice.
His own juice.
It's just like the juice of others.
Yeah.
He drinks like you know how some people
That just
will
set
like
my stomach a bit.
in like
Just the idea of it. I can just see him quaffing cups of it. And I'm like,
some people like inject young blood to
you're
like
making
live
you're
longer.
making like a little pipette thing
No,
around your nipple. No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but they inject like young blood to live longer.
Young blood, yeah.
That's what Spader would do, only not with blood.
Not
he
with
wouldn't
blood.
inject it, he would just drink it every morning.
Drink it.
They were like, oh, can I have a bit of that? He goes, I don't want this. Also, it's really expensive.
It's really. Yeah. Where does he siphon it off from?
I think he just walks down Hollywood Boulevard
But he lives
on
in
a
New
Saturday
York.
night. Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Still. He probably flies out to Hollywood Boulevard once a month.
It would be amazing if one time we were doing a Sleazy Spader Springtime in this diner and he walks past, like with his hat and his coat flapping.
That might happen. If he ever hears these, what do you think he would make of them?
I think secretly he'd like them. I think he would be
We'd never
absolutely
accuse him
fine.
of anything bad, just Sleaze.
No, we love him.
Yeah.
We love him.
He's not evil, he just enjoys Sleaze.
He's like a weird, creepy uncle who isn't doing anything illegal, but isn't doing anything quite legal either. He's right on the knife edge.
It's that Dylan lyric, if they knew, what was in my head, they'd put me in the guillotine.
Right.
It's that kind of thing. It's like he doesn't do anything, but the things he thinks about
Oh, all the time.
would just get him like shot
Yeah.
in a heart. Even in like a utopian future, like a Star Trek future where there is no death penalty.
Yeah.
We accept everyone. If they could see what was going on in Spader's head, they'd just like throw him out of the airlock.
Or
After removing his head from his body, so that the thoughts can never move.
they
Between
would
his
use
brain
him.
and his body.
They would
again.
use him, like they would strap him to some contraption,
Right.
and they would use him in the future to power whatever the Pornhub equivalent is in the future. Like his
it's like-
brain waves would be beamed directly into the brains of
So what you're saying is that in the
sordid
future,
perverts.
in the future, somebody buys Spader's brain.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then somehow is able to plug in,
Yeah,
in
like a mind reading device.
you're able to.
But you're able to scroll through it like
you're
a
able to plug in and
hologrammatic.
walk through Spader's brain.
But no, you don't walk through it. But it's like like on in Iron Man or whatever. He's got like a hologrammatic thing, and he's like swiping through it, right?
Yeah.
And you know how like on porn sites, there's like multiple different choices one can have in terms of
Right.
what you want to watch.
Right.
It would be like that. So, but it would all be like depraved, sleazy, perverted man.
See, I see it as more like that Jennifer Lopez movie, The Cell, where you can stroll through Spader's
I don't
brain.
think anyone wants to stroll through his brain.
But that's what I'm saying. No,
because you
in the
come out
future-
the other end
No, 'cause
covered in goo.
in the beige future where there are no extremes. Everyone is nice. Everything is great. Like Spader's brain would be like.
I
heroin.
imagine it more like when Nick Cage watches the film in 8mm. When he finally watches it, he keeps going like, and he keeps like ridiculously overacting, grabbing his mouth, and like
I'd forgotten that
he can't
film.
look away, but he can. But he is looking away, and he can't. He keeps like going convulsing and like he keeps doing that. I feel like
I'd totally forgotten about that movie.
I feel like
is it any good?
it's fun. It's fun. It's
Yeah?
like Joel Schumacher madness, but it's fun.
Because
And Joaquin Phoenix is brilliant in it. It's probably my favourite performance of Phoenix in it.
I would like to, because I do feel like at the time we thought it was going to be like.
But it's total melodramatic.
Yeah,
pish.
we thought it was going to be like
it's-
dark, because everything at the time was very serious.
Yeah, it was all
dark,
Seven and
yeah.
all
This
that
was like
stuff.
just like over the top nonsense.
It's, I mean, it is. It's melodramatic pish, and it ends with basically the ending of like a poor slasher film. But as long as you're not going in expecting like fine
See,
art,
now I
it's
wanna watch
bloody
it.
good fun.
Yeah, now I want to watch it.
It is
again.
good fun. But like him watching the tape when he finally gets the tape, and then he calls up the mother, and he's like, "What's the tape?" Like he gets really ridiculously over the top about it. That's how everyone will react when you see but like 30 seconds of the brain of Spader's brain projection.
See, but I think you'd make so much money out of that, because it'd be like can you be the one
to stomach more than 30
to
seconds.
walk through his brain and out the other side?
I don't think you'd walk through it. I don't think it's even possible. You wouldn't be able to get through his brain without being molested.
That's the point.
Not that he would be in his brain, but like there would be like weird squid creatures that were the manifestation of his.
No, but again, if
molesting
you see it
tenants.
like as the Lopez movie The Cell, and it's all like weird, like psychodramas
Right.
that are representative of like what's going on in Spader's brain.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then you would have. I agree. You're unlikely to come out of there walking.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or with fingernails intact.
I still say that my version of the future is slightly grubbier than yours.
Yeah, that's true.
And the
But
technology.
that, to be fair, that's probably knew that.
Yeah, and the technology is advanced enough to like suck the thoughts from his brain, but only advanced enough to kind of put them on some kind of viewing device, whether that's some sort of iPad or whether that's a dirty sheet in a basement or whatever it is. Like there's some way to project his brain, but it's in a sort of Gilliam-esque future where sort of stuff
Right.
is cobbled together out of the Detroiters of the past. So they have the technology, but it's still in this like grubby, gritty,
I get it, yeah, kind of a Gilliam-esque.
Gilliam-esque.
Yeah, okay.
Like
yeah.
people go home and they have like the grubby working class version of a computer / TV is, like a smart TV or whatever. Right? And you can, like the Spader's brain channel, much like something out of Videodrome, it's almost like a pulsing skin like pustules like on the screen, just like throbbing down the corner, and occasionally small lips appear on it and go, watch me, but only few do because it is so depraved.
What if with the like?
By the way, I've just combined Gillian,
Yeah.
Cronenberg,
and James Spader.
8mm and James Spader
Somebody
all
had
into one,
to.
some glorious
Somebody had
cacophony of filth. I should be given awards, I'm telling you right now.
I definitely think that you should be. I can only assume that somewhere in Spader's house is like those big, like leather armchairs,
Yeah.
really expensive, and he sits with his friends, smoking cigars, and like,
Bless you.
excuse me, and I think some of them will probably pitch him,
Yeah.
movie ideas, what have you. That's what you should do. You should go there. You should just pitch him.
Should go and sit on his
These ideas.
leather sleeve chair.
Yeah. Find Cronenberg because
What about
happened to Cronenberg?
well, he's got a new thing coming out, isn't he? New
Is
song
he?
coming out?
He hasn't, as far as I know, he hasn't done anything since.
Maps of the Stars.
Oh yeah, yeah. He like got involved with that Robert Pattinson bloke or whatever his name is from Twilight.
Yeah.
That didn't help.
Um,
But I haven't seen any of his things since Eastern Promises. I don't think.
yeah, the two he did with Viggo Mortensen are good. History of Violence. And
Eastern Promises, like Eastern Promises, I was disappointed by. I was wanting a bit more from that.
well, because you like Pretty Dirty Things or whatever that.
Dirty Pretty Things. I
Dirty
fucking
Pretty
love
Things.
that movie.
Anyway, I've got a feeling that's more to do with Audrey Tattoo, to be fair. But
No, it's to do with Chewie. I mean, she's obviously a big part of it. No, because it was really well written. And Ejiofor is like, I will now watch
anything
Ejiofor is in from now until the end of time. Even when he's just like cropping up as like, I am being bland. Even in Doctor Strange, when he's just like being bland. It's still fucking amazing.
what were we talking about?
Spader's Sleazy Brain Machine.
So what about was it Bad Influence, where Rob Lowe decides to broadcast
that was in year one because that was okay.
the Spader sex to Spader's family, like at a party.
Oh,
do you remember that? That was like pretty bleak.
And but they swapped roles because Spader was the straight one.
Spader was the one that was like compromised by Rob Lowe's insidiousness. And what I didn't realize, I just listened to an interview with Rob Lowe, who, by the way, is an insufferable twat. I really was hoping he had like some level of humility after like a lot of the mistakes and shit that he's done, but like, fuck no, he's just an insufferable wanker. Which is a shame because I kind of like him and stuff. But anyway,
he was so good in The Grinder. I fucking loved that show so much.
Really?
I I loved that show. Did you ever see it?
I did. I watched like 3 or 4 episodes and was like, Jesus, this is awful.
Oh,
And
I
like,
fucking loved The Grinder.
really?
Yeah. I really.
It all comes out
liked
now.
it.
What was I saying? Yes. That film in which he shows that scene, like, came out, and I didn't know this. Maybe we talked about it. Maybe we did. I don't know. But that came out the same year as his sex tape scandal.
Oh, really?
Like how, like when you think of that scene of him showing the sex tape to like Spader's family.
Do you think Spader shot Rob Lowe's sex tape? Like someone had to shoot it, right?
He definitely encouraged it. Yeah, he definitely encouraged it.
Even if he didn't say anything, just by being around Spader, you're encouraged.
He also like totally plays down the fact that one of the girls was 16. Like he totally plays that down as if it wasn't. He's like, well, of course, like, you know, the next day everyone was talking about my sex tape. I'm like, yeah, because she was 16, dude. Like, at no point have you, like, done any time for that.
Well, you've taken this to a dark place.
Anyway, yeah, sorry.
Do we want to skip past that bit?
Yeah, I'll skip past that. I'll delete that. It's not important. But no, just when I think about watching porn on a dirty sheet, I think about
James
Spader's brainwaves, and I think about someone having the audacity to play that in front of someone's
in the future
conservative family.
No, that's what it would be in the future. What would happen is you wouldn't see, it wouldn't be images, right? You'd put a dirty sheet up on a wall, and then you'd project like Spader's actual brainwaves onto the sheet.
Yeah.
And if you watch them,
Yeah.
you're tuned in.
Yeah.
Like to the sleeves,
Yeah.
just by nature, like the way the patterns move,
right? Yeah,
like it awakens this weird sensation that's utterly unique,
and you become a sleaze
and can
zombie.
only be experienced by watching James Spader's brainwaves on a sheet in a basement. It's a particular high.
Yeah,
it'll be like the heroin of the future. Like people will be renting basements and sheets,
so instead
and pirating James Spader's brainwaves in order to look at them. And people are like whole towns are lost to the scourge of his brainwaves.
So it's like the adrenal gland. It's like if you get that one drop of adrenochrome.
Yeah, all you got to do is watch the pattern of his brain, of him thinking about something sleazy, and you will be lost forever.
Yeah,
that's I might have to start thinking about that because I bet that could be a thing.
So instead of like the thought police, it's almost like the thought drug that like infests everything.
Yeah, Spader's sleaze is so powerful that just his brainwave.
I'm writing that as
the
a
representation.
movie. I'm writing that as a movie. I'm not even kidding. I'm writing that as a movie.
Have it, mate. It's all yours. And you've got that on record now. So when you are a billionaire,
what from my? It probably wouldn't be Spader's brainwaves, but it would be like the brainwaves of a particularly sleazy person. Is the drug of the future.
Sames Jada.
Yeah, that drives people crazy. I'm going to do that. I'm going to write that.
Cool.
Anyway, here on the towel, as you can clearly see, Jeff Daniels' knob outline.
Yeah.
The outline of the
just
Jeff
a
knob.
little bit of a stain.
Just a little.
Just at the end.
Just a little stain. That was when I came into the hotel
Yeah.
room.
When I eyed him up and down.
Just a little
bit squeezed out.
Just a little bit. Just a drop like. And you can see it on the towel. Well, anyway, with that, I witnessed that this is the end of the show.
Nice. Thanks, man.
It was good.
Oh, Sleazy Spader, oh, Sleazy Spader, you have sleazed all over us once again. Oh, Sleazy Spader, Sleazy Spader, I'm gonna have to shower now that it's the end. I can't get away from Sleazy Spader. I don't want to get away from Sleazy Spader. Next week there's another one.